You've just entered the no delusion zone. I'm David Debato. First, I'd like to once again tell my viewers that I apologize for my less than normal voice. I'm still getting over a very bad cold, actually something that was probably the flu. And so I am very congested. So if I don't sound all that up to snuff, I apologize, but please bear with me, and I should be over this in a day or two. However, I couldn't wait any longer because, as all of you are aware who are watching this podcast, this video, the American elections are just 4 days away as I record this. On Tuesday, November 5th, Americans go to the polls to elect a number of officials, from local officials, judges, commissioners, board members, congressmen, senators, and of course, President of the United States. And of course, that is what we are all watching. The vote for President of the United States of America. And as I said, I'm not feeling 100%, but I couldn't wait any longer to weigh in on this. And to be honest, I'll probably make another video or 2 or 3 before the election, because this is just too important. Let me get right to it. Donald Trump is a fascist. He's a Nazi. He loves Nazis. He sleeps with a copy of Mein Kampf on a table next to his bed. That's not my words. That's not my opinion. That's a quote from Donald Trump. And I know Trumpers, MAGA, don't believe anything that anyone says, but that comes from the lips of Donald Trump. Doesn't surprise me. It shouldn't surprise anyone, actually, since he's been quoting Hitler over these last several months, especially the last several days and weeks, about the vermin, the enemy within, immigrants poisoning our blood. This comes right from Mein Kampf. At the time, Hitler used this against the Jews, but it really can apply to any other, any enemy, anybody other than the accepted group. And with Donald Trump, the only accepted group are white Christians from European descent. Anything less are animals, murderers, thieves, rapists, vermin to be exterminated. Or actually, maybe not exterminated, at least not right away. According to Trump, he's going to place them in gulags, in concentration camps. No, he didn't use the word concentration camps. But MAGA, you low information types, just think about it. He's talking about putting at least 11 million individuals in large camps all across the United States, armed, guarded camps where they can't escape, and where some of them will be incarcerated for an unknown period of time. Some of them may even be executed there, according to Donald Trump and his helpers. And then eventually, if they survive, to be deported. Now, if you don't want to call them concentration camps, that's fine. I call them gulags after the series of camps, prisoner camps, that Stalin created in the 1930s to house his political enemies. And be sure, these are political enemies, these immigrants, these poor souls who happen to choose the wrong country to come to. But these camps will not only house illegal immigrants, they'll also house legal immigrants. Because according to Donald Trump, he doesn't want any Muslims here. He doesn't want any people of color here. And these camps will also house his political enemies, native-born Americans who just happen to cross him, who don't agree with him, specifically Democrats, of course, those damn libs. He mentioned specifics like Nancy Pelosi, many others. My mind is not as clear as it should be today. But any elected Democrat, even Republican officials, anyone who's wronged him may very well find a spot in these these concentration camps, these gulags, if that doesn't frighten and anger any real American, then I say you're not a real American. Talking about not being a real American, if you support Donald Trump right now, after all he's said and done over the last 9 years, you don't deserve to live in America. You're a traitor. You're a traitor. And you obviously must also be very stupid. Stupid. I don't care. I'm not politically correct. If you support a man, I call him a man loosely. If you support a person, this individual, this loathsome creature, who among many, many other things, routinely makes fun of disabled individuals and disabled veterans, disabled combat veterans, how can you look yourself in the mirror? And if you are a veteran, what the hell is wrong with you? How can you support a person who routinely makes fun of disabled combat veterans, of dead, deceased veterans who gave their lives in combat for their country? What the hell is wrong with you? Oh, because he's going to take it to the libs? Because he supports Christianity, even though he's never even opened a Bible? And he hates religion? And he hates Christians and mocks you behind your back? But that's okay, because he says he's going to take it to the libs. He's going to do all the things that I guess you would like to do in this country. Well, oh, wait a minute. Did you say that you don't want to necessarily put millions of people in concentration camps? You don't necessarily want to just execute people summarily without charges, without trial? Or maybe you do, actually, because that's another thing that Donald Trump has said. He has no problems in mass executions, especially of his political rivals. He's talked about, or if he hasn't talked about it, his partner in crime and insanity, J.D. Vance, is talking about arresting Democrats, especially from the Biden family, and putting them on trial and streaming the trial without really any legitimate charges and executing them for treason. What treason? Because they did their job? Because they called out Donald Trump when he did something that was insane? Because the Justice Department indicted him on many, many charges, including attempted espionage? And no, this wasn't directed by Joe Biden. This is a separate agency. But you like that. You like the idea of show trials, of executions, and maybe even televised, streamed executions over the internet. Boy, you would have been really, really happy to have lived in Nazi Germany. That was before TV and the internet, but they had many, many show trials, kangaroo trials, where the defendant didn't have a chance and was screamed at and humiliated before he was taken out and shot or hung with piano wire. You'd have really liked that, wouldn't you? That's the other thing I hate about MAGA, and I'm talking right to you now, MAGA. You like violence. You like cruelty. You love when Donald Trump says, I'd like to punch him in the face, or I'd like to grab her by the pussy, or I'd like to shoot all shoplifters before a trial, or just arrest them all, put the military out on the street and shoot them, shoot Americans with the American military. You like that, don't you? You like all this talk of violence, gratuitous, senseless violence. And that's why I hate MAGA. And that's why if Donald Trump wins this election, the American democracy, the American dream, the idea of America is gone. And it's going to be left in the hands of unbelievably cruel, loathsome, violent, brainwashed cult assholes. And again, I'm talking directly to you, MAGA, anyone who at this point supports Donald Trump, who's going to vote for Donald Trump. Are you insane? Are you illiterate? Can you not read history? Have you not ever heard of Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini? Would you like to live under a person like that? Yeah, you think you probably would because you're an imbecile. You don't actually know what they did and what Donald Trump is going to do if elected. I'm sure you've heard of Project 2025, but you're too imbecilic to actually read it. And if you did, I'm sure you wouldn't understand it. Well, basically, it's a written blueprint for turning the American democracy into an American dictatorship. But Even when you hear the word dictatorship, Mr. and Ms. MAGA, you don't give a damn, do you? Because you have no frame of reference. You have no clue what that even means. I could go on, but I'm not. Like I said, I don't feel too good. And even talking about Trump, the election, MAGA, and the moronic imbeciles who are still going to vote for him makes me sick, sicker than I am. And no, I have no answer for what I will do if Trump actually wins the election. That's why I'm here right now and will be here until the election and after, raving against him, because really, that's all I can do. That's all any of us can do at this point, is try to speak to those who, not that they support Trump, but who support Kamala Harris, who do not support Trump, who want to vote against Trump, and ask them, get out and vote. Get your friends, your neighbors, your associates, your enemies, get everyone out to vote for Harris Waltz. Vote against Trump. I don't give a damn if you don't like Kamala Harris, if you don't like the way she looks, the way she laughs, her policies, her hypocrisy, her flip-flopping, any of that crap. Don't you realize our democracy is on the line? We are about to go into a dictatorship if Trump wins. So put all that bullshit aside about you don't like her policies. With a normal president, we can always talk about policies. We can always change policies. We can vote against policies. But with a dictator, you get thrown in jail or a bullet in the head if you disagree. Take a look at Russia. How many of his friends who disagree with him take a long jump out of a high hospital window? No, don't be an imbecile. Don't be a moron. Vote against Trump, not necessarily even for Kamala Harris and Waltz. Vote against Trump. Vote for democracy. Vote for our future in America. Vote against the end of America, the end of the American dream. Because after all, this nation is the only nation that I'm aware of that was built on an idea of freedom for all. We're very imperfect, always have been, but we have always tried to do better, always. And if Trump is defeated, we will continue on that road of improvement, on self-improvement. If Trump wins, it's all over. It's really as simple as that. And I don't want to hear any other bullshit about how it's not. It is. That's all for today. I think you obviously know how I feel about this. And as I said, this is probably not the last video I'm going to make about this election, but it's the last for today. So please, if you'd like to hear more of these kinds of videos, or at least even similar kinds of videos, if you want to keep this raving lunatic, this non-delusionary person on YouTube, please hit subscribe and buy me a cup of coffee, but at least subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends and associates, family, to subscribe to this channel, because believe me, I've got a lot more to say, and God forbid, if Trump wins the election, well, I'll be here a lot, but I need your help. So again, hit the subscribe button, and as always, take care, stay safe, and stay sane.